Hey guys, just wanted to kick off our new little bonsai series with a little Backporch bonsai tour. So this is where we have I don't want to say finished because bonsai is never truly finished, but this is where we keep our started bonsai, our young ones and all that. Just getting back into the hobby after years being away from it, so just wanted to show off what we have done so far for this year. This is a gold juniper, probably about I would say 2-year-old. Got it at Lowe's in the bargain bin because they never water anything, so it's pretty shriveled up. We did have to add a lot of moss at the bottom because the little feeder roots were sticking out, but I mean, look at that, the beautiful thick root that's coming out there. It's a nice trunk on this one, and this one is going to be wired up again shortly, training it as kind of a windswept semi-cascade there. So let's go over to this side. We'll start with this beautiful pink heather, and this is not a tanuki bonsai. This is actually just a fake piece of driftwood there. It's not connected to anything, but I wanted to have this exposed, this little root clump down there, so that later on I might be able to spread it out, or it could harden up at some point, turn into another piece of the trunk. This branch right here, I'm planning on carving at some point because it is kind of dead towards the end, but I left it on there with the hopes to carve it at some point. There were a couple of branches on this one when I got it. This was another semi-dead one from Lowe's, and there were a couple branches that were snapped that I used a method with some finger tape, like for sports, and was able to heal those up. So I'll show that method in another video at some point. Now here is a something a little bit different. This is a tanuki bonsai, but it's using a sugar maple, which normally you would use a conifer, and also a conifer for here because you need a good sappy tree to harden up. But this was actually a very hard piece of driftwood. It was difficult to even drill through it, but it had a couple holes on top here, as you can see, and I drilled through those holes and pushed the little sugar maple seedlings in there, and made this tanuki bonsai. So I have not seen another bonsai that is tanuki with a deciduous tree similar to a sugar maple. So this is kind of a test. This has been in the pot for about a month now, and it is really thriving, and I'm impressed. So the plan was to have the trunks eventually fill up these holes there and have it look like that is a dead section at the bottom of a tree. Now here's another sort of tanuki style, but there's no pot, which is odd, right? This is the brother to the gold juniper that was over there. It was a double trunk in that pot. So what I did with this was a piece of wood that we had in the landscaping. I just thought it was really cool, and so over the years it really hardened up enough to where we could make it into a pot. So the inside was completely hollowed out. I shaved out whatever soft dead wood was left in there, and then added a little mesh screen as a cup, filled it with the bonsai soil, and was able to wire this guy actually directly to the screened cup, and he turned out like that, and I really like him. It's another unique thing. I mean, that's what bonsai is all about. It's an art form. You don't need to follow the rules. You don't need to do what everyone else has been doing for thousands of years. You can do your own thing. This is a cool little piece of driftwood that we found down on the beach. It's actually it's like a sand weed kind of thing that grows at beaches in very wet soil, but when it's the wintertime and everything's melts down and starts washing back up on shore, these things come up in pods, and then they dry out and harden up as driftwood, and it's just such a cool look, especially looking at it with all this stuff. So here's the last one on the back porch. This one we call Big Guy. This is a purple rhododendron that was another partial dead one from Lowe's, but look at that root system. I absolutely love it. This was another one that had a ton of feeder roots, so we did need to moss it up, and the moss has taken so well that it's actually growing its own little bonsai. Bonsai within a bonsai. And absolutely love that. So this thing is extremely healthy. This one got potted up about 2 weeks ago, and then trimmed down to scale, but I think I actually want to do a little bit more. What I'm doing with this is giving it a windswept look that's different. Normally you see a sideways windswept. This one's going to go to the back, because I loved this as the front of the tree, that root system, but then it naturally was forming that way just because of the way it was sitting on the dead plant cart. So I left the longer stuff in the back, and I know you're not supposed to leave the big branches, but I'm leaving them right now to kind of get the shape of it going back like that. And I want it to look like the wind is hitting the front of the tree and pushing it to the back. I really like the way that this one has turned out. It's a very cool look, especially in that really shallow pot, which these pots, I mean, like bonsai pots don't need to be expensive. I use whatever I have around it. I just drill holes in the bottom for drainage and for wires and stuff. This is actually plastic, and this is one of those to put underneath a houseplant pot so that you can water it and it can drain through. But let me just flip this over. So I have a whole bunch of drainage holes on the bottom, and then also the wire holes that are holding everything together. And rather than spending $50 to $100 on a bonsai pot that's similar to this, you can get these at your big box hardware stores for around $2 to $3. So that's my cheapo solution. I'm going to give you guys lots of cheapo solutions, because bonsai shouldn't be expensive. It should be accessible to everybody, and that includes it should be all price ranges and experience too. I would not consider myself very experienced. I have been out of the hobby for years now and just got back into it, but even then I was only doing it for a couple of years, so I'm not very experienced. So what I'm going to do with these Barefoot Bonsai Ranch videos is show you guys what you can do with less. I don't waste a lot. I use a lot of cuttings and stuff, so I'll show you how to propagate things, and I'm a very experienced gardener outside of bonsai, so I'll show you some of my gardens too, and show you some tips and tricks on different gardening methods. So thanks for joining us here at the Barefoot Bonsai Ranch, and we'll see you next time.